Tony Garcia and those guys, they left a good, level to keep those guys motivated. They set a high standard for those guys. We got a, you know, Crumity center, got Jonathan Boring, Kurt Kelly, um, J.L. Gatson, those guys, those guys have been really working hard this offseason, just gelling together and becoming, you know, a unit, you know what I mean? Like that brotherly lineman thing they have.
So you'll have a ton of seniors. Is there any extra pressure to kind of make this year the year for Troy to kind of get up there, maybe even the New Year's Six Bowl?
Not really. You got your vocal leaders, you got your lead by example leaders. We all kind of work out with each other. If one guy's messing up, somebody else is gonna say something to him. So, not really pressure. We just, pretty much gonna have fun, and that's it.
You have a game at Boise to open the season. How do you feel about taking that long trek?
The trippy part about it is gonna be that blue turf. That's everybody's. It's gonna be pretty cool to play on that. I'm pretty excited.
Good. And then you'll also go to LSU. Is there any hope you get to maybe finish off that famous 2007 game that turned against Troy?
That 2007 game didn't when Troy up like they
Went
were
up
up.
like 33 to 3,
Yeah, and then they came all the way back.
came back. Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, it's gonna be a pretty good game. A lot of guys like I respect LSU. Hopefully they respect us. But it's gonna be a pretty good game.
And then last year y'all went into the other Death Valley and gave Clemson a pretty big scare. Was there did you feel like it was a moral victory after the game, or are you kind of upset about that?
I was kind of upset. That call, it didn't really change the game. We had a chance to go down and score again, but that atmosphere was great. We had Clemson on their heels the whole time. Everybody was out there, hustling, and it was a great game.
Oh yeah, I should have told you I'm a student there, so it was that
Oh,
like
really?
y'all played amazing. It scared me to death.
I mean, the crowd was quiet.
Yeah, yeah. And then, so y'all didn't bring a defensive player to this, so I gotta ask you: are there any players we should watch in the front seven of the defense? I know you deal with them a lot, being a running back.
Man, you should watch the whole front seven and the defensive backs and the linebackers. I actually wish we could have brought some more guys. Those front four and the linebackers, those guys are pretty good. You'll be surprised on how Sound Levy and those other guys gel together as a linebacker and how they're doing this summer.
And then on offense, are there any young players we should watch coming into filling all the senior roles for next year?
We got, at running back, we have BJ Smith and Jabir Fry and Jamarius Henderson and Josh Anderson. Those guys, they're going to be a key role to our offense, too. And Caleb Barker at quarterback, he's going to be a key factor. And then we got some young guys at receiver that are going to be pretty good.
And then lastly, I saw you're majored in criminal justice. What are you planning on doing with that?
I might do juvenile probation officer. I'm not really sure if I want to do that yet, but.
Frank Sutton at ULM, his dad's a judge, so maybe you should
Oh, really?
talk to him.
What's his name again?
Frank Sutton.
Frank Sutton.
Offensive lineman.
I remember that.
ULM. He's around here somewhere.
We said we got some more younger guys too on the O line that just came in. They're gonna be a big key factor too for the offense.
All right. It's good talking to you.
Thank you.
What's up, Jordan?
What's going on?
Christy, man. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Just what's your expectation heading into the season, both for you and for your team?
Expectations are high. We have like I said, we have everybody coming back pretty much skill wise, offense and defense. Our O line, we lost a big guy, Tony Garcia, and Lassiter on the end. We got those guys. We left those guys left, so we got to reboot those guys. I think we got Rousey on the left tackle, and we got Jonathan Bourne at left guard, and then Crumity at center still. And then Tristan Crowder is some guy that's going to be a huge key factor for us. And J.L. Gatson, those guys are going to be pretty good up front.
What about individually? What are your hopes for the season?
Individually, I just want to be consistent, man. Win in and out, every game, and pretty much help my team to a victory.
Now, just talk about how difficult it is playing in the Sun Belt. Not every team
So the Sun Belt, we're coming up. It's pretty much like it's a win or lose. Like everybody's good in the Sun Belt, and if one team catch you slipping, the other team's gonna win. That's what the Sun Belt's all about. Like the talent there is like all even pretty much.
What made you? What went in your decision to go to Troy?
My decision, um, my decision was Larry Blakeney. He was the guy that offered me my scholarship. It was between UAB, Ark State, and Troy. Troy stuck out to me because it wasn't too far from home and not too far away for my parents to come see, and that was a big factor for my parents to come and watch me play.
Yeah, should be good, man. Thank you.
Thank,
Appreciate it.
thank you,
Have a good one.
thank you. Kind of got caught up on that one word. Couldn't get it out.
How you doing, Marcel Sports Bar?
How you doing? I'm Jordan Chunn.
Sports Bar here with Jordan Chunn from Troy Football. How's the offseason been going overall for the team? Summer workouts, and how excited are you to open camp later this week?
Things been going pretty good. We start camp here in Sunday night. We've been doing a lot over these past 9 weeks with conditioning and player-led practices and everything. So we're pretty much ready to go into fall camp.
Coach just mentioned the disappointment in not bringing home that conference championship last year. How much motivation is that because you're in a position to possibly do that, but just fell short of it?
Right. This year we're trying to respond better, not actually shy away from the hype. That's we had 3 close games at the end of the year that could have made or break our season, and at the end we really didn't pull it out.
What do you take from that experience as being upperclassmen, and what do you learn from that as far as your end of the season and carry it over into this year?
Pretty much finish what you started. We kind of, I'm not gonna say we were banged up, but a lot of guys were tired out. But we got to finish strong next time. Don't shy away from the hype.
Yeah, speaking of the hype, how do you handle that as far as being a veteran and not expectations are high? Teams pick to finish second in the conference. But how do you handle that and just focus on your task?
That's what we got to do every day, man. Just focus on each other, fix us instead of fixing other things. We got to fix us.
Yeah, and just how's Coach mentioned is another year with them. Just how's the staff been, and hope you guys prepare for this year.
Staff been great. We've been doing a lot of things with the coaches, just getting player, the coach, getting a little closer to each other, a little fellowship with each other. So it's been pretty good.
Good. And then also, just in general, what you open against Boise, so that's a big opponent for you. Does that also help as well, having a strong opponent to start the season with and getting ready for the year?
It's not gonna make or break our season, but it's gonna be a great start just to see how both teams are at the beginning of the season. Because at the beginning of the first game of the season, that's when you try to work out your kinks. It's gonna be a great game.
Did you do anything different this off season, or do you work with anybody particular, or any different drills? I said you're a veteran now, as opposed to maybe some earlier years.
See, a lot more footwork. A lot of footwork, and then pretty much trying to be consistent on catching the ball and making sure I looked the ball all the way in. I had a few games where I took my eye off the ball and dropped it. So
you see yourself catching the ball more this year,
yes,
expanding your game?
Right.
Is that something that's just become a
It's
necessity
not, yeah,
over time as compared to other years?
right,
Good. And then lastly, I see you're a criminal justice major.
right.
How do you come upon that field, and what are you looking to do with that when you're playing career?
I was looking into being a juvenile probation officer.
Okay.
I haven't really looked far into it, but that's something that I would do with that major if I was going to pursue that.
Why is that something that you
That's just something I would rather work with kids and be a mentor and help those guys out.
do? You do any work now with kids, or like with, or do you see yourself in that role, even helping your teammates in that regard?
But see, I help my teammates just showing them how to do the right thing. It's like it's not hard to do the right thing at all. You have to find someone to do the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Good
Thank
luck
you.
this season.
Thank you. Gotcha. What's going on?
I'm Brooks Sabina from the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Okay, I'm Jordan Chunn.
Nice
Nice
to meet you, man.
to meet you.
I cover Arkansas State, so I'm going to ask you stuff in relation to that.
Okay.
But just with last season, I think 7-3 at halftime, and that game at the end of the season this year. I mean, just what are your thoughts about surrounding that?
With this game, playing each other like that in the Sun Belt, there's always redemption. We had these guys, not actually beat, but we were playing with these guys, but we kind of let it slip away at the end.
Yeah, and with that, what there was a punt,
Interception. There was a punt. There was a
fumble,
yeah.
as well. I mean, just what was
See, coming out of halftime, I think we had a fumble, and they kind of took their momentum on their side.
right? Gotcha. And with the it seems like on the all schedule, you and Arkansas State playing, and Appalachian State was kind of picked at the top here.
Hmm.
That's not a team that's going to play either of you guys. I mean, what's that kind of like in the scope of the conference?
It's fine. I can't really say any much about it because they have their schedule, we have our schedule. I can only say about the teams we play.
Yeah. And coming up with the conference championship, does that kind of change when after this season starting?
I mean, it might. I'm not really sure. I won't say I won't be here, so I couldn't tell you much about it.
Hey, well, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Hi, Jordan.
What's going on? How you doing? I'm
Better
Jordan.
College football. A couple quick questions. I know my colleague came around earlier. So, tell me, what do you like most about Troy?
Man, the atmosphere. It's a family-based thing. We got this thing called One Troy. We like all the basketball, baseball team, softball team, all athletes. Like we're all as one. That's one thing I like about Troy.
Where did that come from?
We had this. Our AD actually brought it in that kind of stood out.
Your major's criminal justice.
Hmm.
Why did you choose that?
I chose that because as a student athlete, you have to start your major your sophomore year. That was just something that one of my best friends, Brandon Burks, he was doing, and I kind of liked what he was doing. We kind of wanted to do the same thing, like a juvenile probation officer. So he's not doing that right now, but I mean, there's something that I would like to get into and get involved with.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Senior year, you and Brandon over here both been part of this offense for the past 4 years. Kind of talk about how Brandon has when you guys are in that huddle, the leadership that he kind of brings to this offense.
So Silvers, he's a good leader. As a quarterback, he really doesn't say much, but you can tell whenever he's got that look on his face. Playing with him over these past years, I can read his body language. Like if he's ready to go, he's ready to go.
You guys have been in that same huddle. Talk about both y'all's maturation process. You obviously had some injuries, but you've obviously overcome all of them. Talk about kind of how you guys have both kind of fed off each other. It seems like.
Me dealing with my injury it brought me closer to God. Knowing like something that could be taken from you just by play away, and I pretty much put football in front of God, and that's kind of what really like went on. I mean, with Silvers, he his injury was it was about like mine, but it wasn't like a season. You know what I mean? Season injury, but he took it and he went to rehab and everything, so he did pretty good with us.
You guys had a lot of emotional games, a lot of big games last season. South Alabama, battle for the belt. Kind of talk about that rivalry and how it's just kind of really exploded between the two schools and that that passion between the two teams.
I guess 2 years ago we started this thing with the belt thing. That kind of boosted the rival between both schools. Our hey, I did not do that. I don't even know what that was. All I heard was screaming.
Whoa. Let's just get back to it. Last year you guys go down there. South got the belt the first year. You guys get it last year. Talk about finally just getting your hands on that thing. I mean, it's a pretty sweet trophy.
It is. That thing's pretty heavy too. It was a great experience. Like our fans, our students, our student body was tremendous at that game. So it was a great atmosphere having that thing in your hand.
The atmosphere at Troy has really changed. Since kind of Neil came in. I mean, the students are really into
Right.
it. Talk about how he's kind of changed, the program and just that feel and kind of that edge, I guess, that Troy's got back.
So we've done a lot of things with the student body instead of doing football every day and not really know who your fans are. We do a lot of stuff with our students.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Good seeing you, man.
Thank you. Going on, Jordan.
Kind of curious your opinion. You guys have a lot of talent returning on offense this year.
Right.
And I'm kind of curious where you feel that puts you in terms of whether or not that gives you more of like a comfort level, kind of knowing we can be at least this good, or if it's more of a pressure thing, sort of wanting to be better because you've got so much stability.
Right. The first thing is the O-line. You can't do anything without that O-line. We had a really good Tony Garcia. The guy that he got drafted. He's yeah. But that guy was pretty good though, for real. But we got some younger guys that'll replace him. He set the standard pretty high. Those guys are gonna come in and help us out. So.
And then speaking of set the standard, kind of curious how it's gone through in camp. I know there's a bunch of options this year in terms of guys helping you out, sort of giving you a breather and things like that. You're just gonna let them get some carries this year, or you just gonna?
I mean, I want everybody to get carries. If I got like 10 carries and everybody else got the rest, I mean, I wouldn't care. As long as as long as we win, pretty much. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Jordan Chunn.
What's going on? Yeah. What's going on?
So first off, it seems like a really good group of running backs this year in the Sun Belt. Do you have a relationship with any of those guys? Is there anyone in particular that you like watching play?
No, I haven't really, branched out and looked at anybody really yet. I mean, the guy from App State that graduated this year, number 14. I'm not really sure, but he was a great running back, and they actually had another running back, number 25. Yeah, he was a great running back too. But other than that, I haven't really looked out and branched out and looked at running backs.
And then I was looking at it, and I really like you guys secondary, so I'm interested to see from your perspective as a running back what you think about those guys. So I'm just kind of run down and kind of hear your scouting report on you guys.
The guy that can hit you. Alligator arms if you come by him.
Sedarius Rooker,
The guy that can hit you and then cover.
Cam Milton,
Like the guy that's gonna stick to you like glue.
West Brown.
A guy that's gonna stick to you like glue and then run with you.